Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Mr. Ty, and in today's video, we are going to be doing a quick unboxing, and I'm going to be giving you my first impressions about the Beta 85X GoPro Hero 6 edition. So without any further ado, let's just get right into the video. Alrighty guys, here it is, the Beta 85X GoPro Hero 6 TBS edition, which means that it comes with a little crossfire receiver. Now, if you look at the front of this box, however, it does not look like the drone that was advertised. However, I believe that this was just because they either didn't want to silkscreen a new box because this is kind of a niche item, or they were rushing out the door and they just wanted to reuse their old boxes. Once you open up the box, the first thing you're going to see on top is an extra set of these GEMFAN 2x2x4 props. From what I understand, these are somewhat decent props when it comes to efficiency. I would just stick with these props. However, if you need a little bit more power or maybe something different, I'll have a list of other props in the description below. Next, we're going to have the kit so you can convert a GoPro Hero 6 into a GoPro Hero 6 Lite. If you were to buy this kit by itself, it is $20. Now, something to keep in mind, if you buy a brand new GoPro Hero 6, well, you can't really buy a brand new one, but if you buy a refurbished one on Amazon, they are $156. Now, once you add this to that price, you're looking at about $180. The thing is for $199, you can get this already built from Beta FPV. You don't have to worry about tearing them apart, which for some people is definitely going to be worth the little bit of extra money. Just to keep that in mind. However, I am going to be showing you on this channel in the next video how to tear apart your GoPro Hero 6 and put it inside this little guy. And finally, the drone itself. Now, if you've noticed, this kit does not come with a battery, so you are going to have to purchase those separately. If you need help setting this up in Betaflight, there's also instructions right here if you want to scan that QR code. Now, like I said before, this is the 85mm. However, they do have the GoPro Hero 6 in a 95mm version as well. That comes with the 2.5-inch props and gives you a lot bigger footprint. That would be better for longer flights or if you are trying to fly in slightly windier conditions. However, for flying inside buildings or in very small situations, I believe that this is the better choice. All up weight on this guy is advertised at 36.77 grams. Mine comes out to 70.12 grams, so about 2.5 grams heavier, which I would chalk up to the fact that mine came with the crossfire receiver. Now, I do believe if you got this a FreeSky or Spectrum or any of those other protocols, it is built directly into the board from what I understand. This is the Betaflight V2 F4 12 amp version of this board. Now, there was a lot of rumors about the original version catching on fire, and though that might be true, from what I understand, this new V2 doesn't seem to have the same issues. They've also dropped the KV down on the motors by 1,000. These are 1105 5000 kV motors as opposed to the 6000 kV motors that came with the regular edition. I believe that that also helps cut back on the amp draw, which will help keep this board from catching on fire. It comes with an EOS camera. This is a Betaflight branded camera. From what I understand, this used to come with the Caddx Ratel Nano, which I personally prefer slightly more over this camera. However, this is still a pretty good camera. One thing I did notice is my camera is ever so slightly crooked, but with a lighter and a little bit of heat, I believe I can straighten that back out. I don't actually quite remember the name of this board. It's like AO something, but essentially this is a VTX that does 25 to 200 milliwatts. From the tests that I've seen online, this can consistently put out 180 milliwatts without very much droppage. This also has a circular right-handed antenna, which seems to be very high quality. The frame that it comes on is also regarded as one of the sturdiest frames, especially for this 85mm size, and comes with this really nice reinforced carbon fiber structure right on the bottom. They also went ahead and put some battery pads on this guy, which in my opinion is a really nice touch, especially since they seem to be pretty high quality. As you can see, we have an XT30 with a capacitor on the lead, which is going to help you from frying that board. Now, if you do want to take this apart, it does appear that they use several different screws. Here we have a 1.5mm screw, which is holding on the props. That's pretty standard. As well as we also have a 1.5 holding the motors to the base, which is also pretty standard for this size of drone. However, on top we have a small Phillips screwdriver that's holding the VTX and this 3D printed part that is protecting the board on top. As well as we have a 2mm driver if you want to lock in the camera angle. However, out of the box it has pretty good resistance, and I don't think that that would move unless you got in a crash. And also what appears to be a 3mm nut. One of the last things I want to bring attention to is this little pigtail coming off the board here. This guy is actually to power your GoPro, and this is one of the best features I think on this drone. It comes with a proprietary PCB inside this little case that I'm going to show you in a second that hooks into here, which allows you to take off your GoPro Hero Lite if you want to maybe fly it without the GoPro, or if you want to put the GoPro on a different drone. What actually led me to wanting to build one of these was Omegod's video, and I was going to build one just like how he had it. The only downside, in my opinion, to Omegod's build is that it is not modular. Once you built that and take it all apart, it seems very finicky if you wanted to move that apparatus to another drone. It also takes a lot of modification. The best part about this product is all you have to do is build the GoPro. And if you bought that pre-made, this is literally as plug and play as you can get for these little micro Cinewhoops, which I think is absolutely fantastic. The downside is that the footprint and weight is slightly higher than the Omegod. If I had to guess, I would say that this case and this extra TPU probably weighs about 10 more grams than Omegod's overall build does. As well as it is standing slightly taller, therefore you might be able to squeeze through a slightly smaller gap with Omegod's build. I'd love to get in touch with Omegod and find out exactly how much his weighs so I could do a direct comparison. The last thing I want to go over is all of the parts inside this little bag. And this is really one of the coolest things, in my opinion, from beta right now. This is all 3D printed except for this little carbon fiber faceplate that your camera lens is going to mount to. It also gives the whole thing a little bit of structure, especially if you happen to get in a crash. And this right here is where all the magic is. This is the little PCB that Betaflight has come up with. This replaces a lot of steps and tedious work that you have to do when you take apart your GoPro. Essentially, all the ribbon cables from the GoPro just click right into here and here. Couple of solder pads, it looks like 3 or 4 altogether that you have to use, and you'll be all set to go. It also has 2 buttons built in, which is fantastic because if you want to change something on the GoPro, you don't have to use your phone if you don't want to. Side note, before you tear apart your GoPro, make sure you pair it to your phone. It will help you in the long run. All these parts come out just shy of 12 grams, and after you add the rest of the GoPro to this, you're probably looking at about 22 to 24 grams. These are the 2 different batteries I plan on using. This is the Tat2 4S 450. This is the battery they recommend. I also got a GMB 4S. This one is a 650, which is going to be quite a bit heavier. So I'm definitely going to have to see how this works and make sure I'm not pulling too many amps because I don't want to burn out the board. But I think that this will give me quite a bit longer flight times, especially since this isn't really designed for freestyle. It's mainly designed for cinematic shots and flying really slow. The camera angle is adjustable, they said from 0 to 55 degrees, but it looks like you could even do -10 degrees and possibly crank out about 70 degrees out of this. So there's definitely a lot of option in the camera mount. Theoretically, it would also be possible to take out all these screws, turn this whole thing around, flip just this 180 degrees, and you could have a rear-facing GoPro and a forward-facing FPV camera if you were doing some shots where you needed to take a shot behind you. Another thing that you could probably do very easily with this drone. I ordered mine from Pyro Drone, and they threw this in the box for free, so I figured I'd go ahead and show it off. This is just a bag full of beta stickers, which I thought looked pretty cool. Alright, now with all that being said, is this something you should buy? And honestly, I haven't flown it yet, so I can't tell you one way or the other. But based off of the experience I've had with other beta 85Xs, they fly really well. And when you take in consideration all the parts and components on here and the modularity fact, this very well might be the Cinewoop for you. Now if you need one a little bit lighter and you're okay with it not having the modularity factor like this one does, make sure you check out Oh My God's video where he will show you how to tear it down and build one like he has. It is definitely a little bit lighter than this, however it's a lot more work and it is not modular. So once you kind of put it together, if you want to move that GoPro to a different drone, you're going to have a lot of tedious work to do. That is one thing that I think that this kit has above the other naked GoPro designs I've seen, at least this far. Now, if I've left anything out, make sure you let me know in those comments below. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, and if you want to see my tutorial on how to tear apart the GoPro, make sure you subscribe, turn on that bell so you get notified when that video is out. With that being said, guys, like always, fly safe, and I'll see you in the next video.